All right, gentlemen, let's run through our most anticipated films of 2021 today. What do you think about that?
Very excited.
Sounds good.
Well,
Perfect.
it's great if they all come out.
That would be optimal, but
I
you
highly
never know.
doubt that.
We'll see if we're lucky.
A little bit of an asterisk.
But before we start getting into some of that today, we want to hear from our listeners and know what their most anticipated films of 2021 is or are. Are they any of the films that are on our list, films that we don't get to? We'll be breaking it up into a little bit today, some honorable mentions, which we'll get to shortly, along with our top 10 list. But before we actually get into our feature presentation, which is the most anticipated films of 2021, we do have some franchises, some original films that just narrowly made our top 10 list. So we're going to run through some of those real quickly. If anyone is big on horror, we've got The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It's the third part in the series. So you're getting Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga back. We hear it's a little bit different than the first two films, not so much a haunted house film, but something involving a trial, hence The Devil Made Me Do It. So that should be a welcome departure from just doing the same thing three times over. We've got The Kingsman. As of now, it's supposed to come out in only about a month and a half from now. Will that actually happen? We doubt it, but it should come out this year. But this one's a prequel to the previous two Kingsman movies. So set during World War I, has nobody from the previous movies in them. Another franchise which started on television but is now making its way to film. However, because of the HBO Max deal, it will still be seen primarily on television. And that's The Sopranos prequel, The Many Saints of Newark. So this one takes place in Newark, New Jersey in the 60s. Again, similar to Kingsman, you're not getting any of the actors from the original series, but you will be getting, in this case, some of the characters from The Sopranos, just with younger actors playing them.
I saw them filming that on the way back from the airport.
Did you really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did. Tons of trailers everywhere.
How close by were you? You didn't happen to catch it them actually filming, did you?
No, we were about 1 block away though, so they had an alleyway where they just had all the trailers. It was lit up like crazy. We got home late and it was bright. They had a lot of stuff going on. It's pretty cool to see that.
That's awesome. Newark's a hot spot for filming movies lately.
Yeah. Joker.
Yeah, Joker was there. Did you see the Irishman film somewhere, or you saw something being filmed in? Okay, that was New York.
Yeah, I saw Irishman in New York. Yeah, getting filmed.
Oh wow.
Yep. I don't think
I'm
seen all over
anything
the
that's been filmed.
You're just
all
in the
over
right place
the
at the
pulse
right
of New
time.
York, New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It had nothing to do with me wanting to get a cheeseburger and a milkshake.
And then outside of franchises, we also had a few original films that were close to making the list. We talked about on our last episode, or 2 weeks ago, can't recall which, we talked about The Little Things, new kind of murder mystery cop thriller starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto. So that drops on HBO Max at the end of this month, on January 29th. The Father, a film that I'm not too familiar with. Doug, would you like to elaborate on this film?
Yeah, it's a new movie that's got Anthony Hopkins and Olivia Colman plays his daughter. So great cast right there. But it follows Anthony Hopkins plays a character that has Alzheimer's, and it's told the way it looks like from the trailers. It's told from his perspective, and so you're kind of like seeing this character that you shouldn't know or don't have any relation to, and he's like, "Oh no, I know you. Like, we're friends," and so you're kind of seeing it from Anthony Hopkins' perspective. So it kind of seems similar to Sound of Music in that you're like, they put you in the shoes of the person. So it sounds super cool.
Neat.
But probably sad.
I think that's one that's supposed to be up for Oscars and stuff pretty soon. I think
Is it?
Because of the eligibility window being extended by a couple months, that it's actually one of them in the running. I believe it comes out soon.
Yeah, I've heard good things from reviews and stuff, so I'm excited.
For sure. And then we have Malcolm and Marie, which is coming out on Netflix February 5th. The trailer just dropped for it this past week. Stars Zendaya and John David Washington. It's from the creator of Euphoria. Looks like a pretty dramatic story about a marriage that's on the rocks. It's got Kid Cudi on the soundtrack for it, and it looks like it's gaining a lot of heat for Zendaya and the Oscars and stuff like that. So definitely excited to check that one out in February.
Is that one just two? I like IMDb that because I hadn't heard of it. Is that just the two actors and that's it for the cast, or
yeah, it's just the two of them, just a two-hander. They filmed it during COVID, like last June.
I remember you talking about that. Back in...
So Netflix picked up the rights to it, and based on that episode of Euphoria that I mentioned recently, that was a two-hander. I have incredibly high expectations for this one.
I tried getting into Euphoria. Not for me.
That is
Not
dark.
For me. Doesn't even seem real.
Did I say last time that it's like it's got like Nip Tuck energy? Like it's just super dark, and like
it's a little outlandish for me.
Nip Tuck. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's got some outlandish storylines that
like a 6-year-old boy with tattoos on his face that sells drugs. Yeah, okay, that's believable.
TV critics are like, if you just remove this like one character from the show, they're like, it would be like, I'd like it so much more. But yeah,
not for me.
That's just a taste of what our most anticipated films are like. We'll be getting into the full top 10 in a little bit, along with some other honorable mentions. But stay tuned. Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 29. You're here with Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us. Before we get into our main topic for today, let's just run through some news and what we watched over this past week. All right, we already mentioned HBO Max and Warner Brothers on the episode already. There has obviously been a lot of drama between them and actors, directors, etc. on their whole plan to simultaneously put movies out in theaters and on HBO Max. But one of the biggest people that were against their biggest companies was Legendary, who put most of the money down on Godzilla vs. Kong and Dune. We can now report that Godzilla vs. Kong, they've struck a deal. Everything is good in regards to that one. It will be coming out in May in theaters and on HBO Max. I guess they were matched the amount that Netflix was planning on paying them back in November when they blocked the deal, which I believe was around $250 million.
Wow.
Yeah, so that one is done. We no longer have to worry about that one anymore. Dune is still not in the cards with whether it's going to actually come out on HBO Max and in theaters. Legendary is a proponent for it strictly being a theatrical movie along with its director. They want to turn it into a franchise and feel that if it comes out on HBO Max simultaneously, it kind of will cheapen the brand, dilute it. People will talk about it for like a week and then it won't matter anymore, which is kind of how Wonder Woman 1984 played out in theaters, where by weekend 3, it's only making like $3 million. So we'll see what ultimately comes about with that one, along with some other ones like The Matrix 4. But
when's Dune supposed to hit?
November or December?
Dune's October.
Oh, okay. They still have time. I mean, they still have a lot of time.
You would think
figure it out.
It seems like one that could move to 2022, and they're just like, now that's in 2022, we're not doing the HBO Max thing anymore.
Well, that's what I was saying before, when we were talking about this. Like, that's one movie I could absolutely see getting pushed to 2022 because it's not like a period piece. It's sci-fi. That movie can come out at the right time, whatever year, Bring it out in the summer. I still think the fall is probably the best time for that movie, but they could move it back to 2022 and have it come out in the fall. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, if they're I mean, I don't think they're going to delay it a whole another year, but if they're not looking for Oscars or anything like that, then if they wanted, they could put it out in like March of 2022.
January 2nd.
Yeah, really fuck with them.
It's just 2022.
Yeah, we'll see that and The Matrix come out like 2 weeks apart in January.
I could see that movie more being.
It's not ready yet. We got to change this one thing, and it's probably going to only take us about 7, 8 extra. When is these are coming out like the end of December, right? It only takes about
The Matrix the end of December.
8 days. Tacking it on to the end. Don't worry about it. Oh, it's 2022. Sorry, guys.
But yeah, we will be getting Godzilla versus Kong. Any wagers on who wins?
Godzilla's got to win, right? He's like infinitely taller.
He's a million times bigger than him.
They grew King Kong so they're the same size now.
But King Kong, can he shoot beams out of his mouth?
Yeah, I thought he was a lot bigger.
King Kong was huge in Skull Island. Yeah.
That's true.
They made him a lot bigger so that it was the whole reason they made him bigger was so that he could face Godzilla and not just get like stepped on.
They're gonna bring in the Pacific Rim robots and they're gonna fight them. So it's gonna be,
That's for the sequel.
Those robots.
Yeah.
Hopefully only from the first movie.
I mean, Kong's got that speed, I guess, but Godzilla's got power.
I mean,
and that freaking fire.
Yeah.
If Godzilla's like king of the monsters, I don't know if he gets to like sick his monsters on King Kong.
Ooh, Mothra.
Or if King Kong like takes the throne and sicks the monsters on Godzilla. I don't know.
Dude,
it could be a love story. What happens if it's a love story?
Ooh.
Romance.
That goes against the title.
You got Godzilla. He's got Matthew Broderick on the ground doing shit. Because they're gonna bring him back. They're gonna.
That's what we want. Hank Azaria back.
Yeah.
Jean Reno's going to come back.
Yeah, they're going to tie the whole thing in together. It was really the same Godzilla the whole time.
They're going to go back to Madison Square Garden.
Hell yeah.
Bryan Cranston's actually going to be in this movie.
He's dead.
He's going to voice Godzilla.
He'll be like a Force ghost. He'll be like...
He got unceremoniously removed from the film.
That's funny.
And now, in regards, as always, we have to talk bad news. We've got some delays. We've got Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie's upcoming feature, Babylon, directed by Damien Chazelle, who did First Man, Whiplash, and La La Land. It got pushed from Christmas 2021 to Christmas 2022.
Ooh.
This one...
Wow.
Yeah, it's a shitty whole year. But it's supposed to be a big-budget, period Hollywood film. Takes place during the transition from silent films to talkies. It's going to have real and fictional characters, like a mix of them, similar to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So far, that's the type of vibe I'm getting from it. Like, it's not often you hear a big-budget drama that's set in old-time Hollywood. They're few and far in between. You got like a Mank or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but Mank was 100% real characters, to my knowledge. But I mean, Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie also were in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I have to imagine those two are going to get a ton of comparisons when this film actually comes out.
That's a long ass time.
Yeah, it sucks. I don't like having to wait for Brad Pitt movies.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not cool.
You're a big Brad Pitt guy.
No.
But yeah, it comes out limited at the end of Christmas 2022 and then opens wide in the very beginning of 2023.
What the fuck?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, because Emma Stone.
When was this movie supposed to come out?
It was supposed to come out
this Christmas
2021. This coming Christmas.
At least it's not like done.
Well,
it was originally going to be Brad Pitt and Emma Stone, and then Emma Stone got pregnant, so she was replaced by Margot Robbie. And I think that probably had a lot to do with the delay. And they clearly think it's a Oscar-type movie, and also, if they're putting a lot of money in it, they think they can make money over the Christmas season, I guess. Then again, if they're opening it in January, they're really not going to make anything for Christmas.
And
so
by 2023, we're going to actually be close to Guardians 2. That's like, it feels like a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
2023.
It's a ways away, but it'll be here before you know it. Other than that, just today we found out we were talking about this recently, that a lot of movies from Q1 would get pushed back. Um, the first sign of that happened today. Morbius, the Jared Leto Marvel vampire movie, got pushed back from March to April 8th. So they didn't touch the Venom release date, which is a good sign for summer movies. Venom 2 is, or Venom Let There Be Carnage. That's still
Yep.
coming out
Mhm.
in June. But now Morbius will be coming out after. Fingers crossed that No Time to Die and these movies in like April and May don't get postponed, and then it's just through March.
I feel like we'll
Yeah.
know that probably over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, because
Right.
they're gonna need to know before the Super Bowl for based on marketing purposes. So we should know by then.
Are we gonna get? Didn't last Super Bowl we got Black Widow
Yeah.
commercial?
Yes.
I don't
Are
think
we
they
gonna
can
get
afford it
another
at
Black
this
Widow
point.
trailer?
I think we got a Quiet Place Part 2, and
Yeah.
that got pushed.
Are we just gonna get all the same trailers again this
Yeah,
year?
just pay
They
$1
just-
million to do a repeat trailer.
Oh.
They're not even any different.
That would hurt.
There's definitely whoever's in charge of the marketing budget for those movies is in constant pain. They have ulcers all over the place. They're like,
Oh,
how are we supposed to get more money for commercials? We've been airing commercials for years now. There's no more. I sold my house for this movie.
I think nobody's been hurt more though than James Bond. They're like, all right, let's start the marketing up. Let's do these Heineken commercials. Put out the Billie Eilish song.
Oh, yeah.
And delayed.
Yeah,
Okay.
They've
Yikes.
Now it's going to come out this time. Get the marketing out. Put out the Billie Eilish music video. And delayed. What's going to happen?
Send Billie Eilish out to everyone's door to tell them about No Time to Die.
soon they're probably gonna like put her in the movie. They'll just like film something. It's
Digitally
like, oh,
insert her.
this
Digitally insert her, just like
new
They're like,
scene.
hey, when she recorded this song, I don't even think she was 18 years old. But now she's like
she's a
practically
grizzled
20
old
by the
woman
time the
now.
movie comes out.
Oh my
It's
She
just-
plays James Bond's mother in the movie because she's aged so much.
Oh my
It's just
God.
fucking crazy. But yeah, next week, hopefully we don't have bad news to report. But sorry. All right, let's move on to what we watched. Corey?
Yeah, so I watched the movie Relic. Came out earlier this year. It's a family drama, like home invasion, haunted house type of horror movie, starring Emily Mortimer. The director, I believe this is this was her first film that she directed, but it was really, really, really good. Not necessarily scary. It's more of a horror movie that just builds the tension, over the 90 minutes that the movie is, the runtime. But it's about Emily Mortimer's mother. She disappears. She lives alone in like the woods, and like weird shit starts happening. They go to the house, and she's gone. She's just not there, and you know she ends up reappearing, and she's acting very differently, and it it's almost like Revenge of the Body Snatchers type of vibe. I don't want to really give away, that much of the plot, but that's kind of like where it goes. And there's a monster involved, and it's the tension that builds throughout the movie is fantastic. And you could tell that it's like a really low budget horror movie, but they utilize this house and the grounds outside the house, the woods, and I think it's Australia. That's where they filmed it really, really well, and it was really well done. Um, Definitely strikes chords with when you have like an older family member that needs to be taken care of, Alzheimer's, what have you, physical issues, and yeah, I mean it's just a really, really, really powerful and disturbing film. Definitely recommend it. I don't remember. I think it came out in March. It was one of the movies that definitely was supposed to be in theaters, and I think it was supposed to come out right when the pandemic started. Uh, and it's been on my list to check out for a while, and I finally just checked it out.
when you texted me the other day and said you watched this movie, I thought you were talking about The Relic from 1997. Like, why the fuck?
Boy.
Why the hell did he watch that movie? Why did he watch a movie about a detective and a biologist trying to defeat a South American lizard-like monster who was on a killing spree in a Chicago museum?
Honestly, that sounds like something Corey would watch, though.
I mean, on some days, yes,
true.
it probably would be. But yeah,
Well, you can
I
add
mean,
that to your list now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Yeah,
that
this
monster
movie-
does not look good.
this definitely would have
It did not hold up.
This movie was reviewed really well too, and I remember like putting it on my list because I heard that like it was really 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 good. And Emily Mortimer is an awesome actress. And she's good in basically like anything that I've seen. But I think like it came out at like literally the exact time that like the pandemic was happening, that it kind of just got lost.
Yeah.
Like completely lost. I mean, it's not very long. I think it might even be under 90 minutes. It might be like 88 minutes. So it's a pretty quick
Brisk
film,
watch.
but it's really really different is the best way to really
I'm
describe it. You're
I'm
better.
starting
it's
to
one of-
appreciate shorter films lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I am too.
I'm very happy if I see a 90-minute movie.
Mhm.
Like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
No reason
This-
to go 2.5 hours.
Yeah. I mean, you could
Is
tell
that
like
like
this. What's that, JP?
Is that a product of getting old?
I don't know. It just
It's not like an
I love
attention
it.
span for me. It's just like having like an hour and a half just like seems like a lot less of a commitment.
Yeah.
there's that. It's like, I mean, can you get it done? Like, if you could accomplish what you need to in 90 minutes, there's no reason
Exactly.
to go longer.
Yeah, be efficient with your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good point because I do think that this movie doesn't outstay its welcome. Like 88 minutes, 90 minutes that it takes to go through the entire story was like absolutely perfect. I don't think it was too short. I don't think it was too long. It was like a perfect length, and it was it was a good, entertaining watch. So
Cool.
yeah, if you
Nice.
want a spoopy movie, check it out.
Awesome. And that's on Apple or
I rented it. I rented it on
Gotcha.
iTunes. I'm not sure if it's on any of the streaming services at this point, but I mean, you could rent it. It's on all of them. It's on all the
Cool.
services. But yeah, Relic.
all right.
It's an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's nice.
So an hour less than it would take to watch stupid Wonder Woman.
Um, watched it twice so far, so
You guys don't get started on that.
JP is triggered.
If you want to hear more Wonder Woman, go back to last week's episode or 2 weeks ago. All right, Doug, what do you got?
So I finally checked out the show that I think you and JP recommended, Killing Eve.
I think it was just me.
yeah, not me.
JP, I thought you like
My
walked
wife,
by it a couple times and
my
thought it
wife
looked good.
watches it. Yeah, I didn't think
Okay.
it was great, but my wife
Well.
raves about it. She loves that show.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Definitely. The first thing I noticed when I turned it on was, it's got a lot of like a Dexter vibe to it. Dexter, the what was that, Star Show? No, Showtime.
Dexter with the laboratory.
Yeah, Dexter
Ooh.
with the laboratory and the
Dexter.
sister and
I was gonna say which
all
Dexter.
that good stuff.
Which Dexter?
No,
show?
Dexter, the Showtime movie about a serial killer who is a sociopath. The reason why it reminds me of Dexter is this show follows the two main characters. If you haven't seen the show, is like an MI6 agent played by Sandra Oh, and then this actress Jodie Comer plays a sociopath assassin.
Hmm.
And
I would,
so
go,
it's like
I would go straight up psychopath with Villanelle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. She's okay, psychopath. But her personality is very similar to Dexter, and like they just like don't feel anything. And so that adds to. I think what carries the show for me is the two actresses, Jodie Comer and Sandra Oh. They just like have really good chemistry when they're in scenes together. They're both really entertaining to watch. I like the dark humor throughout the show. I think the writing could be a little bit like tighter. There's like some meandering, and which I don't know if they had to do like a certain amount of episodes, or was this was a BBC show. which usually
Yeah.
They're
it's
like,
only 8 episodes in a season.
yeah, they're like BBC's like 6 episodes.
tight.
And,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah,
keep you guessing if
BBC's
we do
usually
another
pretty
season.
tight. So I don't know, this story like I kind of got a little bit bored of the story, I would say, in the middle of it in season 1. But what kept me hooked and interested was just watching those two, especially Jodie Comer. Just there's something like enjoyable about watching her just be like this fucking psychopath
Because
throughout. Like she's
her
just
personality, she's got like the personality of like a kid, but like she's fucking insane. So like she's fun. She's like fun to watch. She's like a pleasant like character to watch, but then she's just absolutely nuts at the same time.
Yeah, it's really strange because she does throughout the show and like throughout all the episodes I've seen so far, she does really horrible things to people that don't. Probably some of the people do deserve it, but some of the people don't, and they like, of course, tell her about their family, and in some cases you see their family, and so like you should hate this character, but I was like, I kind of like this character. Like she's like,
Sick
I wouldn't want to be
person,
friends with her, but like she's fun to watch, and like I don't. It's not like a villainish character where you like despise her. You like enjoy when she's on screen.
Sandra,
At least I do.
Sandra.
Yeah,
Oh, that.
yeah, I do as well.
What else is she in? That name sounds very familiar.
Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on there for the beginning of the show for like a lot of seasons.
Oh, all right.
She's been in a couple things recently though, because I remember talking to my wife and saying, "Oh, it's like the renaissance of Sandra Oh," because I remember seeing her everywhere. I don't know if it's because she was watching Grey's Anatomy.
The Sandra Sans.
Yeah, it might have just been because of that, but I remember seeing her in something else. I think she won something fairly recently. She won an award. Within
She
the
won
last
for
4
Killing
years.
Eve. Yeah, she
Okay.
won for Killing Eve in the last 4 years.
Good for her.
But yeah, she's in like random ass movies, like nothing major recently. I know she was in The Princess Diaries. Just going through her filmography right now. She was in Mulan 2.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Mulan won.
Yeah, the name sounded very familiar.
Yeah, I mean, you'd know who she was if you saw her. She was in Tammy.
She hosted SNL recently.
Oh, wow.
So she was probably in headlines and stuff for
True.
when that happened. All right. So you're going to continue watching season 2, Doug?
Yeah, it looked like there was 3 seasons of it, so I've got 2 more to go. I don't know. Does it, in your opinion, does it get better or does it get worse?
Season 2 is like pretty much on par. Maybe some people will say it's a little bit better. Some will say it's a little bit worse. But there's different writers every season, so.
Oh, okay, that's going to be interesting.
Be prepared for that. Like Phoebe Waller-Bridge was season 1. Then the writer-director Promising Young Woman was season 2, and then there was somebody else for season 3.
Interesting.
That's like they kind of do it the way Mission Impossible did it for the first 4 movies or 5 movies, where it would be a different director each time, which is an interesting way of doing things.
Yeah, we're definitely going to continue watching it. I mean, we got Hulu now, so we might as well. Didn't look like there was much to see on Hulu, so we've got this and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's good. All right, JP, you resumed your Twin Peaks watch?
Yes.
Hold on.
Are you
For you, yes.
Are you audibling?
For you, yes. No, I'm not audibling, but there's no yesing going on here. I finished season 1 of Twin Peaks and I started season 2, and I still don't know what the fuck I'm watching.
Yeah,
What the fuck am I watching with this show? The dialogue makes little to no sense.
She's got to keep going. She's got to keep going.
If I stop paying attention for like 15 seconds, I turn around and they're discussing coffee or something.
Just know this.
I'm waiting for the scary stuff to happen, and it just started happening in season 2. But then you told me the middle of season 2 is like a fucking like crack nightmare. So I'm a little concerned about watching it through
season 2. Okay, season 2, for the most part, is a crack nightmare. Yes. However, you are going to get satisfaction. You will know
if season 2 is a crack
by
nightmare.
when? Season 3?
Season 3 is incredible. Season 3 is incredible. The reason, I mean, I said the reason why season 2 was a crack nightmare. The first couple episodes, you will see like literally by episode when David Lynch leaves.
Well, can JP skip a large portion of season 2?
I think
Or
You
that
probably
does he
need
have-
that crack
or does he
nightmare
I
to
have
set
think-
the
watch it?
stage.
no, I mean, I think you should watch it just for the entertainment value. Because it's
I've
It's
yet to be
fantastic.
entertained, though. That's the problem.
just keep
Is I've
watching.
yet to be entertained.
The end,
It's gonna be like one episode left of the entire show. JV's gonna be like, I still don't understand, JV. Just keep watching. You'll get it. You'll get entertained.
It's
season
gonna be
one,
You
over.
gotta watch it again. You gotta watch it again.
Season-
I will
Until you get
never
it.
be watching this show again. I'll tell you that much.
season 1 is great.
You miss
but
a lot on the
it-
first watch.
The
Now
spooky
you'll
stuff.
understand.
Apparently, I
on the
have.
second watch.
though. Man,
The spooky stuff. The spooky stuff. It starts.
It
towards
started.
The end
It
of,
started
yeah.
at the beginning of season 2. There's some spooky. So I didn't even notice it transitioned into season 2 because
Yeah.
season 2 starts exactly at the end of season 1.
Mhm.
It's like nothing happened except for some of the guys' haircuts. Are like the mullets have been trimmed up. The main character's got slightly different hairstyle. I can see
Yeah.
it. However, it did start to get a little spooky. Although the spookiness just ends up with one character just screaming incoherently for no reason until it's over. And like there was one part where one of the characters she comes in at the end of the first season and she sees the blood come on the floor and then leave, and she just screams for about a minute and a half to 2 minutes. I'm like,
Oh,
what the fuck is going on? My cousin.
Ed's. Oh, I'm thinking of Ed's wife.
No, Ed's wife fucking. I
Yeah,
don't know what
there's-
I'm watching. I really don't know what I'm watching at this point.
That's exactly what I was expecting. Just
It's
keep.
like
just
I
keep going.
thought Quentin Tarantino had no fucking idea how humans interacted. Apparently, David Lynch lives in like a fucking bubble devoid of speaking to human beings because it is so much worse than. Quentin
And the
Tarantino.
funniest thing is, Twin Peaks, he had another co-writer who would like keep him down to earth.
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
You're not
Robert.
even
or-
you're watching filtered David Lynch.
Yeah, Mark Frost and him are best friends. Mark Frost is like I
Oh,
think
they're
he's a-
best friends because I assumed he just had a mental breakdown and ran out to the woods after having to work with David Lynch.
I'm pretty sure Mark Frost is he's written like a lot of like big TV shows, but I think he's more well known for his like political and historical like writing, his novels. So like he's like super grounded, and Murph is exactly right. Like he literally tries to balance David Lynch's like fucking crazy head, crazy mind and imagination. So
Yeah. So maybe I keep watching it, but as soon as as I like move one page down on Netflix and something else catches my eye, this is gone for a while again.
you gotta finish season 2, and you have to watch season 3. I have it. You can borrow it. You gotta watch it. And then you'll.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. It's like every time I ask my parents for McDonald's and I never got it. We'll see. We'll see.
It's a
All
ride.
right.
22, I'll finish it.
And then as for myself, so last week I watched Best in Show, Christopher Guest mockumentary. This week I watched 3 of his other ones. This is Spinal Tap, Waiting for Guffman, and Mascots. Those can each be found on, accordingly, HBO Max, Showtime, and Netflix. But yeah, it was the first time I ever saw This is Spinal Tap, which is generally
So
considered
good.
a classic film. And yes, it was very funny. I liked
Now you can
how
finally get It Goes to 11.
Oh, I already saw that. I had seen that like
Yeah.
a long time ago, just that one part, and random other parts from it. But I like how with that one they just did it like it was they made it seem like it really was like a documentary. How they have Rob Reiner being a character and who is directing this mockumentary. I thought that was a pretty neat touch because none of the other films have done that. Then Waiting for Guffman. That was like the first one that Eugene Levy and Christopher Guest worked on together. So the two of them wrote and Christopher Guest directed it. This one was pretty hilarious as well. It deals with Christopher Guest character, Corky St. Clair, putting together a musical in like this small town for the town's 150th anniversary, and the musical is just ridiculous. They think that this guy from Broadway is going to be coming and watching it, like a Broadway theater critic, and that they're going to get this show to go to Broadway, and it has no chance in the world, in any sense of the world, going to Broadway. And then Mascots was his latest one. I believe it came out in 2016, and it was on Netflix. Eugene Levy wasn't a part of this one after the previous four they did, and it really kind of showed like not having him and Catherine O'Hara definitely made a difference. And also the topic of like college, high school mascots in a competition just isn't as funny as like a Broadway play or a small town theater play or a dog show contest, or the other things that they had done previously. So yeah, I'd say the first two fans of comedy should definitely check out, and Mascots you can skip unless
Hey,
you like.
Gabe's in Mascots.
Yeah,
From The Office.
It's very much a like a mix of his usual actors and then new people. Like Chris O'Dowd is in that one.
I love Chris O'Dowd.
You like him from what? IT Crowd?
IT Crowd, yeah. Yep. It's a great show.
But they all have Fred Willard, and Fred Willard was definitely the funniest part of Mascots, and he had the funniest short role in This Is Spinal Tap. So rest in peace to him. It sucks that we're not going to get to see him in more comedies. But I only have one more.
Yeah.
I only have one more of his Christopher Guest movies to watch. Mighty Wind, which was like a folk.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I've seen it once.
Once it's on the streaming platforms, I'm definitely going to check that one out as well. Had you guys seen any of these three?
Just Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of them.
Waiting for Guffman is one that I've wanted to watch, but I never actually got around to it.
He looks like fucking Simple Jack in Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah.
I'm looking at pictures of this.
He's the most ridiculous character in the movie. Yeah, he's clearly gay, but he says that he has a wife, but nobody in the town has ever met the wife. He's not supposed to actually be in the play, but then like the really masculine guy that was going to be in it, his dad wouldn't let him be in it anymore. So then he takes over the role and just cannot do any of the masculine parts justice. It's hilarious. So yeah, if you like Spinal Tap, you'll definitely like this one as well. It takes a little bit to get going. I think all of these films take like maybe 10 minutes to get going, but once you meet all the characters and things really start moving, then they just become like a riot.
Once you get over how Canadian they are.
Canadian in certain people's cases, for sure. But all right, before we get into our most anticipated films of 2021, which is next up, we just have an update from Corey, who has recently completed season 3 of Cobra Kai. JP and I talked about it last week, but we're going to get some thoughts from Corey now. Doug, you're going to want to unplug yourself.
We're going spoilery? I'm going to unplug.
It'd be safe.
I'll unplug.
Doug,
Probably would.
Doug is almost at the end of season 1, so he'll be caught up in a couple weeks.
So,
Corey,
man, this season was fantastic. I really liked how they figured out a way to like really continue and in more so like organically connect the films, to this show. It's like it's a universe now. Like it feels like a cohesive, like what I think they call it the Miyagi-verse now. Miyagi-verse, and it's just like all the little things that they've done to connect things and to make things from the movies seem more satisfying and vice versa. It was great. And just being able, you could definitely see like how accessible the show is too. Like people that have not even seen the the movies could really get into this, because the characters are just so strong on so many levels. Like every single character in the show that is still on the show at this point, I think has a great arc in season 3. You know, there's some that I was disappointed that didn't show up for season 3, and I hope they show up for season 4, because you could tell that the 3 creators, like they had a plan, and like they built this narrative for all of these characters, and there was a lot of payoff throughout this season. um I know for me, like Kreese that was great. Like he was incredible throughout the entire season. I liked how they showed a lot of his backstory and gave him motivation for how much of a dick he's been since the since the
Yeah.
original movie. And I mean, it didn't make me. I didn't. I felt for him in a way, but it was more so I understand why he is the way he is now. So that was like fantastic. I really liked that. And I
Uh,
have what?
Before you get to that, just one thing about Kreese. We didn't talk about this last week, but the first flashback that you see, where it's they're in the diner and the waiter's getting bullied.
Yep.
Did you guys think automatically suspect that the busboy was Kreese, or did you think that guy was Kreese?
No, I thought it was the jock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really realize what was going on until they had spoiled it. I'm a little slow upstairs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, once I saw the car, I was like, I immediately thought that it was a back. You know, I thought it was a like a flashback for Miyagi,
Mhm.
but
They
then
do
I
a
saw
really good job with
Yeah.
flashbacks in this season. And
really
with
really good.
all the footage that they have from the other movies, they used it really, really well in this season. Did a
Yeah,
really
they
good
show
job
you
doing
just enough, so if you didn't see the movies, you are caught
Yeah.
up just from the quick flashbacks that they do show.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like I don't have to watch 2 again.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen it now.
And I imagine the
flashbacks.
same situation will occur next season with Karate Kid Part 3.
I hope so,
Mhm.
because I don't think I'm going to watch 3.
I like 3. It's
Yeah.
different. It's dark. It's way different than the first 2. For I mean, I'm not going to go into it, but it's
I'm not going to spoil
Yeah.
36, 34-year-old movie.
But it's good on its own right, and I think that it's definitely better now than than what people thought it was back when it came out. But it'll be cool to see what they do, you know, with that storyline. But trying to think of the only other thing that, I mean, there's so many things. I've watched the finale like 3 times already. I think the fight the fight that happens in the LaRusso's house was
All
one
those
of the
dead
most
children that should have been like
that obviously like so absurd.
When the one kid gets thrown through the fucking
the glass table.
window.
What about
the first kid gets
the
thrown through
little
the
kid
window?
gets. I was like, he's dead.
What about Hawk
He's-
bashing a glass vase over that one kid's head? And he's like, "Pussy."
You get thrown through a glass table, you're gonna have some shards in your back as well. I mean, that's
There's no kitty. Whatever he says. Yeah, I mean, like that whole fight scene was so good.
it was very well
I
done.
I think I might.
It was well choreographed, yeah. It was
Yeah.
insane, ridiculous,
Yeah, they like.
unrealistic. You have to suspend your fucking disbelief.
Yeah.
But it was great for what it was.
They
Yeah.
somehow like the school fight scene is like, it stands on its own definitely because it's very different, but they were able to elevate it a little bit more, like to make it a little bit more ridiculous, but just a little bit, to make it, you know, like not like make it like you're not watching the same thing again, like the same type of fight scene. It was a different environment, more close quarters. The fighting,
they elevated it without making it, because the school fight
Too
scene
ridiculous.
is just
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. It's like a cartoon, but this one seemed a little bit more believable.
Yeah, I
one
think they've-
took out
Yeah.
a necklace and started slashing people with
Yeah.
it and stuff.
Yeah, and like there clearly was nobody to stop the fight and things like that.
Yep.
and I think a lot of it also is that the characters and the feuds that they've been building for the past 2 seasons, the past 3 seasons, they culminated in ways that it was like perfect. Like when Sam and Tori, like when they faced off, like that was so good, because I mean those two characters are very different than Daniel and Johnny, but they're also like obviously are similarities to their feud and the way their characters. So I thought that was really cool how they did that, and like Tori had the skull hoodie on, throwback to Johnny from the first one when he's in his skeleton Halloween costume. It was just like little things that made that whole fight scene great. I mean, and they intercutted they had it intercut with like the stuff that was going on at the country club.
And they do a good job of telling multiple stories in a fight.
Yeah, yeah. They're
like you're dealing with Sam and Tori, you're dealing with Hawk and Dimitri, and how Hawk's dealing in regards to everything.
It also helps
dealing with Miguel and him finally fighting post fucking being paralyzed. So there's a lot of stuff.
I want to say one thing. I knew he was going to walk before the end of the season, but I was expecting it to be like, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was not very believable, but for the context of the show, I think they did it right. I think it worked with how they did it for me.
I mean, they did a good job. They did a smart decision in the fact that they didn't have him fight until the last episode.
Yeah,
like, it would have been ridiculous if he was fighting halfway into the season for the rest of the season,
and he wasn't able to fight.
Completely unbelievable, but it works in the universe of a show where at the end of the last season they were all kicking each other over balconies in the school.
Yeah, I was expecting him to be standing and being back, in his back fighting like episode 3, and I'm glad they didn't do that. I'm glad they really stretched it out.
I wish they did, honestly.
But I liked how they built on him and Johnny's relationship even more so. Like, that was like the best part of it for me.
Yeah.
Like they really, I mean, that was great. The one character that just, I'm like so upset with Robbie. I'm like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why?
He's turned to the dark side.
But I mean, yeah, I mean that fight scene was great too in the Cobra Kai dojo with Kreese. I mean, that was insane. Daniel gets like tackled through the pane glass. It's pretty epic.
Yeah. Robbie reminds me of every child protagonist from like the
90s.
Yeah, from the mid 90s. He's got the same hair, and if his teeth were a little crooked,
he looks like he should be an actor in the 90s.
He looks like he was in Kazam.
I think he looks like River
He
Phoenix.
reminds me of Sean from Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, he's like mid 90s guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't shake it out of my head. He's what, like probably a late 20s.
Yeah, he's definitely in his 20s.
He reminds me of like a 12-year-old kid.
Mm.
Just the way he exists in this world.
Yeah,
Do you guys? One last question. I meant to ask you guys this. So, do you think that Elizabeth Shue is going to show up again next season?
Nah,
I don't think so.
She's done everything.
It's on to Carmen and Johnny from now on. I think.
Because that was.
And they gave Elizabeth Shue a great arc. Like
they really did.
Perfect. And yeah, she has other stuff to do. She seemingly
it's the Elizabeth Shue renaissance as well.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, we'll get more into Cobra Kai as Doug catches up, and we'll see what happens to Robbie and the gang when season 4 airs. Probably the beginning of next year.
It's just a shame that everyone dies at the end of season. Oh shit! Sorry, Doug.
Now that we've spoiled the ending of Cobra Kai to Doug, let's move on to our feature presentation. Our most anticipated films of 2021. So what myself and the gang did was each of us put together our own top 10 lists of what we're looking forward to in 2021. From there, we mathematically did calculations and came up with this top 10 list. So
put it into the live, breathe, film computer.
It's good with calculation.
Exactly. Basically consisted of adding up some numbers and dividing by 4, and then putting them in order. But it's a pretty solid list of what the 4 of us are looking forward to for the most part. And it's got a mix of originals, sequels, franchises, you know it. But we will start with our number 10 film, work our way down. And our number 10 film is Don't Look Up. It is the upcoming comedy from Adam McKay, director of Anchorman, Big Short, Step Brothers, Vice. It's a Netflix film that should be coming out at the end of the year. They started filming it towards the end of 2020. But it has an absolutely killer cast, which was really the reason for being on this list. We've got Jennifer Lawrence, Cate Blanchett, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill, Timothée Chalamet, Matthew Perry, Tyler Perry, a lot of Perrys.
All the Perrys.
All the Perrys.
Matthew Perry.
Ron Perlman, Chris Evans, tons of actors, and like big actors. Ultimately, the film is, I believe, Jennifer Lawrence and Leo are the 2 main characters, and it's about the film follows 2 low-level astronomers who embark on a media tour to warn mankind of an approaching asteroid that will destroy Earth. So sounds hilarious. I'm sure it'll likely be more in the vein of The Big Short and Vice than his previous movies, but I think it might be a little bit of a combination in the fact that it's not actually dealing with real life events this time, like those 2 movies, so they can be more outlandish, similar to his Anchormans, The Other Guys, those type of movies, while still touching upon current events to a little degree. Basically how society is in 2021. But yeah, we should see this film on Netflix by the end of the year. Anyone else looking forward to this one? Doug, I know you were the deciding vote that got this one on as number 10.
Yeah, and the plot, like you said, doesn't sound funny per se, but the cast is just so damn good, and I just hoping that because Chris Evans is one of the people in this movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I like seeing him do like comedy, so him and Leo.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see those 2.
Yeah,
those 2 guys in this movie.
You don't think of Leo as like a comedic actor, but he's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he can do it.
His memes are from like as like ridiculous, like funny, goofy characters in serious movies for the most part. Like when you look at like the Django Unchained meme or anything, or like Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
Like he's a funny dude, but he primarily does very bleak movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of this seem like funny people that aren't typically in funny roles. Which made this one sound pretty interesting. It's not like another Will Ferrell, Adam McKay movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love one of those.
I know you would, but I'm kind of like intrigued by that it's something different.
Yeah, this one just didn't make the list for me because of how I fucking feel like I wasted my time watching Vice.
I know you hated that one.
I still have a fucking sour taste in my mouth after that. I want my goddamn time back from watching that movie.
Just watch Step Brothers again.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
And he watches the other guys. He loves that. He loves the majority of Adam McKay movies.
Yeah, and I'll never watch The Big Short again because it's the scariest goddamn movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's a horror movie.
It really is. A great cast, though. Absolutely fantastic cast. It's going to be interesting to see them all on a Netflix movie together.
Yeah, exactly. I had this at number 2 on my list. If the Martin Scorsese, Leo, De Niro movie, if I actually thought that would come out, I would have had that like right toward probably number 1 or 2 on my list, Killers of the Flower Moon. But ultimately, since I haven't even started filming, I think it's more likely for 2022. But we'll talk more about that movie later. All right. Our number 9 film on the list is Judas and the Black Messiah. It will be on HBO Max on February 12th, I believe, along with in theaters. Stars Lakeith Stanfield and Danielle Kaluuya. Doug, you had this. You and myself both had this, I believe, at number 8 on our list. You want to jump into why you had it?
I just like the trailer. I like Daniel Kaluuya a lot. I think he's a good actor, but it was just one of those trailers that just kind of looked interesting. That I don't really. The director's Shaka King, which I don't know if I've seen anything from. Is there another memorable movie that Shaka?
I've never. No, I don't believe so. She doesn't even have a
Okay.
Wikipedia page, so I'm assuming not. But
Yeah.
for anyone, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I mean I don't have a lot to say about this movie other than like the trailer just kind of hooked me. I thought it looked like a really well acted, interesting movie.
Yeah,
but I don't really know much more about it. Like I don't really even know this too much about the story. I noticed it has to do with the Black Panthers, right?
Yeah, I'll just give a brief synopsis of the premise. In the late 1960s, petty criminal William O'Neill agrees to work as an informant for the FBI in order to take down Black Panther Party chairman Fred Hampton. So Daniel Kaluuya is playing Fred Hampton, Lakeith Stanfield from Atlanta is playing William O'Neill, and then Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad is playing the FBI agent who's using Lakeith Stanfield in order to get to take down the Black Panthers. So the reason why I put it in my top 10 as well was due to the trailer. I just thought it was incredibly well done and has me amped to see this one. And word is that it's an Oscar front runner in multiple categories. So
have people seen this one already?
As well, critics, I believe, have started to see it.
Okay, cool.
I haven't even seen the trailer yet. I didn't know the trailer was out. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it dropped, I believe, in I don't know, August or July.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Back when it was supposed to come out in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard about the movie. I didn't realize that there was actually a trailer out. I'll have to check that out.
And Ryan Coogler from the director of Black Panther's producing it, so it's got a lot of good people attached to it. All right, number 8, we've got Candyman, the reboot / sequel. Not sure what you want to call it. Horror film. Doug and Corey, you both had it on your list.
Yeah,
to get into it. I've never seen the original one. The trailer looks good, but you can give me an idea of what Candyman actually is and everything like that.
I mean,
I haven't seen Candyman either, so I think Corey will have to be our resident Candyman expert.
So it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I think this one is. I think it's a spiritual sequel. I don't think it's actually like a reboot. I think it's actually legitimately like a sequel to the original. And it's this guy that terrorizes, I think, Chicago, like the very urban areas of Chicago. And it's a legend. It's like a folklore type of legend in that area. And he goes around and he kills people, but most of the people that do know about him are the people that live in this area in Chicago. I don't remember him being. I don't think he's human. Basically, he inhabits people. He takes control of like a host. I don't know how he chooses people. But Candyman looks for like a desirable host, takes control of them, and then wreaks havoc throughout the area in Chicago.
Gotcha.
From the trailer, it seemed like you had to say Candyman a bunch of times into a mirror or something.
Yes, so he appears.
That's part of it?
Yeah, that's when he appears. Like people that, like in a horror movie, it's like, yo, you know about the folklore, know about the story, and people dare each other to say Candyman 3 times into a mirror, and then he's supposed to appear, and then people do it, and then teenagers die. I remember he blows bees out of his mouth, if I remember correctly from the original. But yeah, it's more of like this like urban myth that apparently actually is alive, like the character is alive. Um, but with the original one, or with the original one, with the sequel, I remember reading that it's a spiritual sequel, whatever that means. So I
Yeah, reading that it's a direct sequel to the first movie.
Okay.
They went the Halloween route and they're kind of eliminating the sequels from existence. So
I think
Oh, there's
Anyone who-
multiple Candyman movies.
yeah, there's like 4 of them.
Yeah,
so
there
anyone
were-
who sees this,
Oh wow.
you
yeah
should just
Well,
see
they-
the first one.
They got Tony Todd back, right?
They got Tony
Yeah.
Todd back. Yep.
yeah Yep.
Jordan Peele wrote it, co-wrote it,
Yep.
was producing it.
Yeah, it's
So-
him and 2 others I think wrote it. There's
Yeah, the director.
3 people that wrote it.
The director is one of them,
Yep.
who is doing Captain Marvel too. So
Yeah.
it must be good if Kevin Feige would
Marvel
hire
hired
her
them on
for-
board.
Yeah, exactly. Afterwards.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm interested to see like how they I guess like expand upon like the lore, because I'm pretty sure the original like Candyman, he's like a soul. It's like almost like Child's Play. It was a murderer who died in the area, and he just inhabits, whoever he feels is fit, as a physical body, and then just goes on like, his rampages. But I didn't realize that it was actually like a sequel. I thought it was a reboot myself.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, you can call it a reboot. They haven't made a Candyman movie in like 20 years.
Yeah,
So,
but
and the fact that they're erasing the sequels, they really are rebooting the franchise.
mhm,
This was another one where I thought the trailer was really good.
it was really good. It reminded me a lot of like Get Out and Us. Like it had that similar vibe, using popular music and just like skewing it as, the song in the trailer, making it like kind of like horror, like a pop song.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess there's a formula now to the to
Oh,
that.
it's most definitely.
Definitely is.
I didn't even
something
realize they like it's
everyone
just
does
subliminal
that.
at this point
Did
for
a-
me. I'm just like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
It was a good trailer though. It was shot. It was edited well, and it definitely hyped me up. I feel like, what was that? It was supposed to come out in August.
Yeah, I
Originally.
believe it's supposed to come out in August of this year.
Okay.
So
It'll be nice though to get some horror movies in August.
yeah, Corey, your top 10 had a lot of horror movies. I noticed.
Yeah,
What was his
there's. I
horror
mean,
movies?
I do, but I mean, usually from year to year, there's not as many. I was thinking about it when I was putting this together, and it just worked out that way. I think a lot of the horror movies that I was looking forward to in 2020 got pushed to 2021. On top of, there's probably 1 or 2 that were originally even in 2021. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you had 5 horror movies that were supposed to come out last year
Hmm.
that were now coming out this year. All right. Number 7 on our list is another original. It's called Last Night in Soho. It is directed by the great Edgar Wright. JP, I think I don't know if you missed this one or.
Yeah, I forgot this was even coming out.
Because I was
honestly.
like, JP fucking loves Edgar Wright. He didn't
I-
include this on
Yeah,
his
I
list?
thought for sure JP was gonna have this on his list too.
I heard
Yeah, I
about
forgot
this,
this was
but
even coming out.
I heard about this,
Yeah.
but what is it about?
Yeah, it's a psychological horror film. It's
Ah.
about a young girl who's passionate about fashion design. She mysteriously enters the 1960s, where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer. The 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to fall apart with shady consequences. So it stars Anya Taylor-Joy, hot off of The Queen's Gambit, Thomasin Harcourt from Jojo Rabbit, and Matt Smith, the Doctor.
Diana Riggs also in this movie. It's
It's her final
I think
film.
her last appearance. Yeah.
Yep.
Did it also say
Good
Kevin
point.
Spacey's in this movie as well?
No, Kevin Spacey's not in this movie.
Why does it show up when I click on the cast?
Probably something.
Maybe
in
he
relation-
was
in relation to
some-
Baby Driver by
Yeah,
accident.
that's weird. It has like
Yeah,
Kevin
that's true. It's
Spacey,
probably
Jamie
Baby Driver.
Foxx, John Hammond. It's like a fucking.
That's the Baby
Yeah,
Yeah,
Driver
you're
cast.
looking at Baby Driver.
I'm not though. Right on. It says Last Night in Soho, but it's like everyone from Baby Driver.
Yeah, I
Weird.
mean,
There's
Google,
Lily
get your shit
James and
together.
Anson Elgort.
Yeah, no, actually, he's right there as well. Get your shit together, Google. Jesus.
Yeah, but this one
Whoa.
drops April 23rd. It was supposed to come out last September. Delayed like everything else. But yeah, it really is on my top 10 strictly from Edgar Wright's name alone. Doug, I imagine that was a similar situation for you.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot as far as story to go off of, but I saw a psychological thriller, Anya Taylor-Joy, Edgar Wright, and I was just like, done. This is a movie I want to see. So yeah, it's just a lot of pedigree. But mainly Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright's really one of those names who, like, just his name alone will get you onto a top 10 anticipated list.
Yeah, I'm hoping she has a little bit more of a soul to her than she did in Queen's Gambit, because I don't want to.
I hope she's got a Russian accent like she did in New Mutants, because that's where she excels.
Based on the logo, which is kind of like a silhouette of the characters, I'm guessing Anya Taylor-Joy is the one who already is in the 60s, where she's like the idol character, and then the girl from Jojo Rabbit is the one who travels back to the 60s. I could be wrong, but
the poster is absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice poster.
Yeah, and I really hopefully this was not another one that gets delayed till fall, but again, we should find out pretty soon if it is. Well, now we're safe with this one because it's Universal and Focus, so they'll just put it in theaters, then drop it on VOD. 3 weeks after
19 days later, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the potential release date for this again?
April 23rd.
Oh, lovely.
So this is one that's on the right now. What would you think would be on the cusp between getting delayed and not?
I feel like it has a fair shot, though.
Yeah, I think this one will actually come out on time, which would be nice. All right. Our number 6 film, we already mentioned it earlier in the program, is Dune. So this drops in October. As of now, in theaters and on HBO Max. Time will tell if that is to be the case with HBO Max. But a couple of you guys had this on your list. I believe it was Corey and Doug.
Yeah. This is just, I'm looking forward to it just because of, I really enjoyed the original. I've never read the book. I want to. Or books. There's multiple, aren't there? I think there's multiple. Yeah, I've never read them, but I really enjoyed the original movie, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. It looks very different from the original. I mean, David Lynch did the original one, not the miniseries that came out in 2000, the one that came out in the 80s. And that movie is insane. So it looks like they're grounding this somewhat more. Like it almost feels like they're going the Mad Max route with, aesthetically, the way the movie looks. But it looks like I hope that they're trying to, keep, the original like vibe and, storytelling of the book. I mean, it seems like people that have read the book, seem somewhat happy. I know there's some people that were upset, but the director is great. I mean, he directed
Villeneuve.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name because I don't know how to pronounce his name. But yeah, I mean, I loved Blade Runner 2049.
It's gonna be a gorgeous movie.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree that it's gonna just be like one of those movies that you're just gonna be like, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure
I have no idea what's going on, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, Roger Deakins is doing the cinematography for this one, right?
Which I think he did the cinematography for Blade Runner too. I believe
he did.
I think they always, for the most part, work together. But
no, Roger Deakins is not on this one. It's Greg Fraser.
Boo!
he did Rogue One, Vice,
Mandalorian.
Okay.
Man.
He's doing the Batman.
Okay.
So he must be a hotshot Warner Brothers if he's doing Dune and Batman.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Hans Zimmer though, which is awesome.
But yeah, story wise,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be. It's gonna be a ride. I'm not really sure. The original was weird. But it's a cool sci-fi movie. So
It probably has the best cast outside of the one we talked about before. Don't Look Up.
Don't Look Up.
I
yeah,
mean, this cast is stacked as well. Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Batista, Zendaya, Jason Momoa, Javier Bardem. So another
Yeah,
incredible cast.
that's kind of why I've never seen the first Dune. I've never read the books. I don't really have any connection to Dune. I just big budget, great director, stacked cast. Just feels like it's probably going to be a good movie, or at least a fun movie to watch. And it's we don't get a ton of sci-fi movies, so it's nice to have a sci-fi movie coming, and that'll hopefully be good.
yeah. I mean, this is probably as sci-fi as you're gonna get. I mean, the subject matter is like really unique, really unique. JP, you said your dad loves the first Dune, right? In the books, right?
My dad likes the books. I don't know how he feels about the movies, but my dad has shelves of sci-fi books, and the Dune ones are pretty worn out.
We'll have to see if we'll have to get him to watch this when it comes out.
He won't, but he'll watch it when it comes out on video on demand. And yeah,
Well, it's supposed to be HBO Max.
well, there you go.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what he has to think about it. I'm sure it's not going to be up his alley because my dad's more of like a hard sci-fi type of guy, where this looks like it's a little more
Mainstream.
yeah, a little more mainstream.
He's not much of a Timothy Chalamet fan.
I you know,
How old is he?
I'll have to check to see if he has any like posters of him around.
I don't know.
How old is how old?
Probably like 27, something like that, maybe.
I don't even know who the fuck he is.
The one
Somewhere
thing that's like
he's definitely between 20 and 30.
really, because the one thing that was throwing me off, I'm like, because he plays the Kyle MacLachlan character, and I'm like, he looks like he's like 15, like
No, he's not 50.
It's a
He's
weird
25.
thing because
Paul Atreides, I think that's the character's name. Like he's supposed to be like in his, his like mid-20s, and I'm like, he looks like he's like 5.
And,
In the
I
80s?
guess he's around Zendaya's age.
in the 80s, 15-year-olds looked like they were 35, and nowadays, like 25-year-olds look like they're 14. It's so strange.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our number 5 pick, we have The Matrix 4.
Whew,
So it's,
this is a weird
as of
one.
now, it is coming out in December. Like we said, it's on HBO Max and in theaters simultaneously. We have no clue about the plot. We know Keanu Reeves is back as Neo.
Somehow.
Somehow. Carrie Ann Moss is back as Trinity. Somehow. Jade
Somehow.
Pinkett Smith is back. The Merovingian is back.
I was gonna
we got a
ask.
bunch-
Yes.
Yeah, no, the Merovingian's back. And then we got a couple new cast members. NPH, Neil Patrick Harris.
What?
Jonathan Groff.
I didn't know Neil Patrick Harris was in this.
Oh,
Neil Patrick-
Lord.
Neil Patrick Harris, Jonathan Groff, Jessica Henwick, Yaha Abdul Mateen II.
Mm, that's
from Watchmen.
nice.
So it's got a interesting cast. But yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen a Matrix movie. The sequels were disappointing, but I would like to think 18 years later that they have something good in mind, or that Lana Wachowski has something good in mind and is the reason why she's doing this movie. Hopefully. Keanu's on everyone's good graces lately, between John Wick.
John Wick.
And, Bill and Ted. Not necessarily JP's good graces for Bill and Ted,
No.
but a lot of other
Yeah,
people.
he was in Toy Story.
Yes, Toy Story 4. So yeah, this is the movie in between John Wick 4 coming out. So I know I got nothing else to say about it. Doug, you had on.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cool movie. I kind of wish we were getting, like, if they were bringing everybody back, that we got like Hugo Weaving.
I was gonna say, did you
return?
say Hugo Weaving? He's not coming back.
No.
He had scheduling difficulties, I believe.
Boo.
And then
and I believe that Yaha Abdul Mateen is playing Morpheus. Like a young Morpheus.
I like
That
it.
is, that is
That's
a
a-
I have
rumor.
no idea
That
like
is a
what
ru-
this movie is
That
about.
is a rumor that I have heard.
That is a
Um,
good. That's a solid casting. If so,
Morpheus is a terrible
So-
character, though. He just sits around and whines all the time, and he gives you bad information, and then like tells you something else when you fuck up because he gave you bad information. Morpheus sucks.
but
Should've just
Morpheus
taken
would
him out.
argue that he this was the plan the whole
Yeah,
time.
no shit. Morpheus would argue that he doesn't suck as a character too, and then he sucks.
Isn't
Yeah.
Abdul like? Isn't he like a little too like jacked to be like a young Lawrence Fishburne? I feel like it's gonna like.
Have you watched the
like,
original Matrix?
When was Morpheus like a fucking action star?
Can't you be whatever you want in the Matrix though? Like, wouldn't you
I
just be
guess.
able to update yourself into like?
Yeah, why not?
Not so much.
You're right.
JP using logic on you.
Yeah, I
Not-
live in the Matrix.
Not so much Reloaded and Revolutions, but I mean he was still in good shape in those movies. But I don't know if this is a prequel or what the fuck they're doing with this. But
I
he
mean,
was
it's not.
he's in good shape.
Don't think it's a prequel because Keanu Reeves is 20 years older.
And he wasn't in the Matrix before the first
It-
Matrix,
it's
so.
must-
But was
Yes, he
he?
was.
But
I would
was
think
he?
it's
Well, I
a
know
new-
he was, but he wasn't aware.
I
He
was-
wasn't.
My guess
he
would
wasn't
be
aware.
it's a new iteration of the Matrix, like the next version up, and some of these characters are somehow still in it. I don't know. We'll find out later this year when a trailer drops.
Because wasn't the
It's,
end of the movie
it's gonna
like,
be a mind fuck.
yeah, wasn't
I-
the end of
I
the movie
hope
like
so.
they're just gonna reset the Matrix and bring it back because that's what they always do. They always kill Zion and they always reset the Matrix.
Yeah, there's a lot of rebooting.
I'm just happy the Merovingian's back. That's what I was
So,
hoping for. I love
You
him.
guys think it'll be called The Matrix Rebooted?
It should be, but it won't.
I hope not. Just makes me think of Kevin Smith when you do that.
It fits in line perfectly with the last two movies. But yeah, they're probably going to try to stay away from anything that sounds similar to the sequels.
The Matrix
Yeah.
version
Well,
4.
Reloaded kind of just sounds exactly like that.
Yeah, that
So.
too. All right.
Ugh.
Number 4 is Ghostbusters Afterlife. This one is coming out in June. We've got the surviving members of Ghostbusters 1 and 2 returning, with the exception of Rick Moranis. So you've got Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Andy Potts, am I missing anyone else that's coming back?
Sigourney Weaver.
And Sigourney Weaver. Thank you. Along with a new cast that includes Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, one of the Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, and whoever's playing his sister. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but I don't know. I think the three of you might have all had it on your list. So
Yeah, I had it on my
Yeah.
list too.
It kept climbing down my list as I was going through my list because I remember it's all kids. And
yeah,
Yeah, but at this
that
point,
is ultimately
It was all
why it was
kids.
not on my top 10 list.
Yeah.
the thing I kept
Stranger
thinking
Things
about,
meets Ghostbusters.
That's
thing
why
I
it's
kept-
on my list.
the thing I kept thinking about was that we've only seen a teaser at this point. We
Yeah,
haven't
it's
seen
Pretty
like
in-depth teaser though.
Teaser
was.
dropped over a year ago.
there was
And
no
the teaser, it seemed like it gave a good idea of the film's like premise and stuff. For all we know, it only shows the first half of the movie.
Mhm.
We have no idea. So I don't know.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to get out of this film?
a lot more than the last Ghostbusters movie. A lot more.
Oh, that one didn't exist. That wasn't a Ghostbusters movie. That was
It-
some abomination that they slapped the Ghostbusters name and logo on.
It haunts me.
Yeah, I just want to see the original cast do their thing because it appears that they're not going to give me what I want, which is like actual Ghostbusters again. It should be a bunch of kids driving cars when they're 14 years old and firing proton packs, which would kill them probably. If
I'm
you're going to tell me that a 14-year-old kid is smart enough to like create a proton pack, I'm walking out of the movie theater.
I'm okay with them
Yeah.
passing the torch. I mean, it's just got to
But the
be.
children though,
I don't think they're really that young. I mean,
the girl's like
They're kind of young.
11 years old or something like that.
isn't Finn Wolfhard? Isn't he like 17?
Still,
16,
like,
17?
why the fuck would a 17-year-old be running around with a proton pack on their back?
Aren't they relatives to one of the characters?
Yeah, so it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like Egon's relatives.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. It could definitely be shitty, but I'm still like on board with what I saw. I'm like, I think it
Wh-
could
What
be
are your thoughts on it from the teaser trailer? It seems like everyone has seemed to forgot about ghosts for the most part.
Yeah, it does.
Like, do you think there's some sort of like mystical thing
Well,
that's making people forget, or
I think the movie takes place in the Midwest,
yes?
pretty far removed from New York City, so it might just be one of those things where, well, it didn't happen here. Who gives a shit?
A giant Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
No, like-
Zool? Who's Zool?
Yeah. I mean, obviously people know about it because Paul Rudd, the teacher character,
Yes,
is
he
all,
knows. He's
super
familiar
hyped
with
about
it.
Ghostbusters and shit.
Yeah.
I like what they have built with. They have a lot of lore, so I dove really big into the trailer. And Ivo Shandor's mine is part of where the town where they live, and I think that's really cool because I think the video game did a really good job delving into that lore. But is it enough to save it from just like a generic action movie where kids save the world like Stranger Things? I guess it remains to be seen.
I kept getting an ET vibe from that trailer, like a Spielberg, ET type of thing.
Yeah, I unfortunately just got Stranger Things, which I could give two shits about now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully there's enough people involved from the older movies that, I mean, you felt like, or at least I felt like in the trailer there was, at least it seemed like there was a reverence towards like the older movies. You had like,
There has to be a reverence. The fact that
Yeah.
Jason Reitman's directing it.
Yeah.
And the teaser
right, like
trailer
you grew
was,
up on the set.
Yeah, exactly.
that teaser trailer was absolutely amazing with the proton pack starting up and then the sheet coming off the Ecto one.
And seeing the
Brilliant.
old uniforms and stuff like down in the basement or whatever.
Yeah. There's pieces there that make me want to see this movie. It's just I kind of get this feeling that they're not really going to give you what you want.
It's so strange because it's not a kids movie, Ghostbusters.
No.
So like, why turn it into it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the whole thing I have about this. Is just it seems like they're just slightly off the pulse of what they should be doing.
It'd be like if they fucking rebooted Indiana Jones and they made it a kid. Like,
Yeah, like Matt Williams.
Here's the teenage years of Indiana Jones. Well, I mean, they have done that.
they
Indiana
did do
Jones,
that.
and they have never
It was actually-
what's fucking stupid.
I liked it. I liked Young Indiana Jones, but
Well, then do I have a Ghostbusters movie for you? It's coming out this year. Young Ghostbusters.
Well, we should hopefully see a second trailer.
I would love
sometime
to see
soon.
more. Yeah.
It would be nice to have
Super
more
Bowl,
of an
maybe?
idea. And yeah, I mean, if they think it's actually
Be
coming out in
nice.
June, then I think the Super Bowl is realistic for seeing something else, which is only a few weeks away. So, all right, let's move on to our top three. At number 3, we have Spider-Man 3. Perfect number for it. Will this movie actually come out in 2021?
no.
It's possible. As of now, it's supposed to come out in December, around Christmas time. If it did, it's actually going to be the biggest movie of the year. I just don't know if with the other Marvel movies getting pushed back and things like that, or other Sony movies getting pushed back. I think probably the thing that has to its advantage is that it's not Disney, but it's Sony. So they wouldn't necessarily have to push something back. Like if Disney decides to push back Black Widow to where Eternals is, Eternals isn't going to get pushed back to where Spider-Man is. Eternals would get pushed back to where, like, I guess Doctor Strange is. Sony will still do its own thing and put out Spider-Man when it wants to put out Spider-Man.
Yep, they
But
showed that already.
do you think that it's too possibly connected to Doctor Strange to be able to go out before Doctor Strange?
It's already coming out before Doctor Strange.
It's already coming out. Wow.
Yeah.
I figured it would have to be.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is 2022. So
Have they
I
started?
think I'm not sure. I don't believe they started filming yet.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was.
And I know Kevin Feige has said some of the things that we've heard about it are true. Some of it's false in regards to characters returning. My guess is Emma Stone is not returning since she is pregnant.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I would absolutely. We know Alfred Molina is returning. We know Jamie Foxx is returning. I would think Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are definites.
Yep.
I don't think one that I never believed was Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox's character
Yeah.
from Daredevil coming into it. That just seemed like an internet thing.
Willem Dafoe. What about? I mean, that's like I don't know.
Be cool.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be neat.
I want them to bring all the cheese from the Raimi trilogy.
Get
into this.
Franco in here. Get Bruce Campbell as all his other characters, like 3 Bruce Campbells from every single movie. Great.
Topher
Yeah, I
Grace.
saw
What's
even
weird-
though Macho Man's dead.
What's weird about this 2021 release is I feel like we just got like a lot of this casting announcements not that long ago, and so it's weird to think like a movie's coming out this year.
Yeah.
I think it's way too fast. Unless this has been in the works for so long that they were able to keep it under wraps until now. That's the only thing I could think of. If this has been unfolding in real time for the most part, or basically real time, I don't know how they could start film it, get post production done, and have it out the door by the end of the year. I don't see it happening.
The old Mando.
It's gonna be tight, but I would think a lot of
could
these
be right,
studios
JB.
are going to want to make money, and they're going to want to make money fast.
Yeah.
Based on especially Sony, they haven't put out a movie since like pre-pandemic. So like this is a big year for them with Ghostbusters, Spider-Man, Venom, and Morbius, which we just talked about Morbius being delayed.
JP
so if
makes
they
a
can get
good
these
point.
4 movies out, they're going to want to.
Yeah, maybe they'll utilize the the Mando
Well,
set.
I was just thinking in terms of the Mando cast everyone under the sun, and you didn't find out about it until it was all done and like months away from coming out. But you do bring up a good point. I mean,
the set.
What's the number one way to make a ton of money? Quick and easy. Release a Spider-Man movie. It's that easy. It's that easy. All you got to do is make and release a Spider-Man movie.
They've done it lots of times.
Yeah.
They've done it 7 times, I believe. 3, 5, 7 times. No, 8 times.
like-
Spider-Verse.
Yeah. It's like Warner Brothers. They have that in case of financial emergency. Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's Sony's baby with Spider-Man.
The only thing I can think of with this is that maybe they've had a plan, and like it was really just tying up specific actors, for their roles, but like the actual plan for filming was set in stone for the most part. Maybe they plan to like start filming in a few months.
But if you're doing if
I don't
if we're really getting like a Into the Spider-Verse like with all 3 Spider-Man, like how do you, that seems like a pretty big part of the movie, like how do you not have that solidified?
Unless they're not really doing that and it's just sort of blinks into the different universes.
like a tease. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah,
we really
just a good way
don't
to
know
do
what
it.
this movie is yet. All we know is Doctor Strange is in it. It's going to have some people from the previous two versions. And
I'd love that.
Everyone
like,
knows who Peter Parker is now. Or everyone knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Based on the ending.
And 3 with that like whole Into the Spider-Verse tease.
Yeah.
Because we already got like such a badass tease at the end of 2.
Yeah.
That like, let's see that play out, and then give me a multiverse tease for 3 at the end of 3.
Yeah, maybe that is what it is. But I mean, the multiverse was the reason why it was in my top 10. It would not. Maybe it would have been towards the end of my top 10 if it was just what they set up at the end of the second one. But I'm just amped for these returning characters.
I feel like I'm always amped for these Spider-Man movies year in, year out. They seem to be the one thing that I really get excited for during, I guess they come out, summer, early fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always find myself just ready and raring to go. Like when Far From Home came out, I was genuinely excited to go to the movie theater and see it. They're just fun. They're not kind of like the same Marvel shit that you see over and over again. They're just fun movies.
Without a doubt. Yeah. And this year.
Not that Marvel's shit, but
No,
you
for
know
sure.
what I mean.
But this year we'll get we should be getting a Spider-Man film and 2 Spider-Man and Jason films with Venom and Morbius, and then in 2022 the Spider-Verse sequel. So I know Doug's looking forward to that one. I guarantee that'll be his number 1 most anticipated film of 2022.
Oh wait, is Avatar coming out in 2022?
Ooh, yes, that would be a 1-2 punch.
That's gonna be a battle. I want to see you write that list. We should do that.
Avatar's gonna be like 2023, 2024.
He'll get delayed a few more times.
Probably.
Cameron's not done.
It's gonna get to the point where they're both gonna be filmed, and you're just gonna get like Avatar 2 and 3 back to back in theaters, 1 ticket, both movies, and it's gonna have tech from 2019 because that's when they were filmed.
All right, back to 2021 and our number 2 film, which the 3 of you guys all had on your list. It's the reboot of the Suicide Squad. James Gunn coming in to save the day. Guys, feel free to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, John Cena. That's all I want to say. John Cena looks incredible. Every little bit.
If you like John Cena so much, why was F9 not on your list?
I haven't seen F9.
That's because it hasn't come out.
Obviously, none of us have seen it.
See, this is how far gone I am with the Fast movies. I don't even know what number iteration we're on. Have they gone to space yet?
F9 is the one coming out in May.
Have they gone to space yet?
Rumor has it they will be going to space in this one.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I have to catch up on a few of them. But, yeah, I mean, John Cena, amongst a lot of the other characters, but yeah, John Cena's character looks, awesome. He's definitely a stand-up for me.
The movie just looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks colorful, like we haven't seen to this point. It looks violent. I saw somewhere that James Gunn may have confirmed that it's actually rated R, which would be fantastic. I like the mystery of you have absolutely no idea who is going to survive this, because he's also said that they gave him Cate Blanchett with murdering whoever he wants. And the characters look fun. It looks like maybe they might get Harley Quinn being good in the movie. Not like good, but like not just shitty gangster garbage. Like the whole... I hate Suicide Squad.
I love that.
Birds of Prey is better.
Yeah, I didn't like Birds of Prey.
What? Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of that performance either.
Yeah.
I think that was actually it was like the screenplay kind of sucked too.
Yeah. What do you think, Doug? You think this is going to be better than Suicide Squad 1?
I would hope
so. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been on my list if I thought it wasn't going to be better than Suicide Squad 1.
I don't know. You guys have a weird reverence for the first Suicide Squad. You're like, it's actually funny if you sit down and watch it, but you're wasting your time.
It's because Murph and I went over Corey's house. And Corey was so excited for us to watch Suicide Squad, and all we did was laugh the entire time at how bad it was.
We also were drinking a lot, but I mean, it's not a great movie, but I think it's fun.
Watch with alcohol, and you'll be fine.
It was like you'll 5 minutes in. Doug and I were just like, "This is bad."
It's very bad.
But Corey was like so sure that like we would see how not terrible this movie was, and so I think that added to it.
That definitely added to the enjoyment.
Yikes.
But yeah, this movie has a good cast. You've got James Gunn, hot off the heels of 2 Guardian of the Galaxies movies that I liked. I think the first one's better, but I think the second one's also good. And visually, the second one is awesome.
And it's the I just got fired attitude too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's the I just got fired. WB's like kind of, I mean, outside of the Joker, but at the time they brought James Gunn on, I felt like WB was kind of hurting. So I think that's why they kind of gave James Gunn a lot of freedom. And yeah, it feels like there's going to be a redemption story between like James Gunn, getting fired from Marvel, though he's hired again back on for Guardians 3, and then you had the WB like really fucked up the first Suicide Squad. So I don't know. I just feel like this is going to be a course correction. I could be super wrong, and we could all like laugh about this when it comes out on how wrong I was. But it just what we saw during that under the DC fandom, just the cast seemed like they all gelled well together. The footage I saw looked good. This is probably one of my most anticipated movies, just because I really trust that James Gunn is going to knock this one out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shit show, but in a really good way.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's how I feel when I think about this movie.
He's amazing. He's amazing with ensemble, films and writing. I mean, he wrote this on top of it, so like he's not just directing it. That's like his bread and butter, and he loves these characters.
Yeah,
he cherry picked all these characters. I wouldn't be surprised.
I heard he's like a late ad.
And he was in Guardians Volume 2, so it makes sense.
Yeah, he was.
Ooh.
But yeah, it'll definitely be nice to see James Gunn back in R-rated mode. Since he paused for a bit with the Guardians films, fantastic as they are.
It's getting R-rated Guardians.
Never happened. It will never happen.
Yeah, it would never happen.
Unfortunately,
we're lucky we're getting R-rated Deadpool 3.
Marvel Phase 5, all R-rated.
We'll be lucky if we get an R-rated Blade.
If they don't do an R-rated Blade, I'm gonna. Oof.
It'd be cool if they did this kind of like Marvel After Dark, where you got like I'm sure they can come up with a better name than that.
Marvel After Dark.
Yeah.
But like these R-rated Marvel movies, where you got like Blade, Deadpool.
Wasn't that maybe Marvel Knights in the comics?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And it just airs on Cinemax after 10:30 at night. Marvel After Dark. Yeah, that would be cool. They have like a dark Marvel universe, and
and then maybe Deadpool can actually like show up in other people's movies, and they don't have to censor him if there's other R-rated.
I mean, the thing with Deadpool is like censoring him will work too. It'll be fucking hilarious. If he just pops up.
It could definitely work. We've talked about this at length. How there's some real funny jokes in there to be made.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see in August if. Sorry, what were you gonna add, Doug?
No, I was just gonna say when we talked about length, I think we all kind of thought maybe it would get like a little old after a while.
Oh yeah,
like it'd be really funny in the beginning and then kind of fizzle out. So maybe this Marvel After Dark is the solution to that.
Kevin Feige, call Doug. He's got a good idea for you.
Get the website. Marvel After Dark. We can make millions.
Copyright this right now.
Yeah. I am trademarking it as we speak. No, I'm just gonna say it until it catches on.
We'll see in August how DC After Dark goes with the Suicide Squad. I mean, they've done it before with Joker to great success. This one looks a little bit more comic booky, so it'd be interesting to see how this one does. But if Deadpool can do as well as it does, I don't see why this can't make a shit ton of money as well. And,
people are going to get blown up in this.
Yeah, without doubt. And it'll be nice to see James Gunn rebound things for DC after the hit they took critically and from a lot of fans with Wonder Woman this past year.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. It was a good movie.
JB's all aboard.
I think it's
Wonder Woman.
It's rotten now, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I think it finally went from certified fresh to rotten somehow.
Is it rotten though, or is it your souls that are rotten?
No. I'm pretty sure it did. I'm pretty sure it went rotten. It dropped hard.
Oh, poor Wonder Woman.
Oh no, it's back. It's back up. I think it like teetered down to rotten, and now it's back to 60%.
I created so many accounts to give it a fresh rating, so I'm still doing it.
All right. So that was our number 2, the Suicide Squad. Before we get into our number 1 pick, we'll just run through a bunch more honorable mentions that were on our list that ultimately didn't make the top 10. and didn't really warrant discussion at the beginning of the show. But we know you guys are probably excited for a lot of them. So we do want you to know we are excited about them as well. We've got Black Widow, so the MCU prequel in between Civil War and Infinity War. Scarlett Johansson finally getting her leading role. We've got Halloween Kills, the sequel to the 2018 reboot. So Jamie Lee Curtis is back for that. A Quiet Place Part 2. John Krasinski back writing, directing, and Emily Blunt starring. Spiral. It is a reboot to the Saw franchise starring Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson. So that should be an interesting one.
Wait, what?
You didn't hear about this, GP?
Yeah, you haven't heard about this.
Sounds like it works though.
Check out the trailer.
Chris Rock had it. Chris Rock had an idea and he pitched it.
Wow.
Yeah, the trailer came out last year. When it was supposed to come out last May. Now it's coming out this May.
It looks cool.
We've got The Jungle Cruise, so The Rock, and another one with Emily Blunt. A Disney adaptation of the theme park ride. The Last Duel, starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Correct? Ben Affleck's actually in it, or is he writing it with Matt Damon?
No, Affleck's in it.
Then it's both of them writing it and starring in it. And directed by Ridley Scott.
Adam Driver's in them as well.
Ooh,
Nice.
That's a great cast.
And some funky haircuts in it too.
Yeah, that was another one that was supposed to. I think it was just supposed to come out like last week, and now it comes out in November.
Not even a trailer for it. I don't think.
Nothing.
Fucking crazy. Not to go off tangent here, but a lot of these movies I was looking up, they're supposed to be coming out this year. Haven't seen a trailer for them.
Yeah, they're
That's
just waiting
weird.
to see things like pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
The Green Knight, which is correct me if I'm wrong, an adaptation of Wayne and the Green Knight.
Yep. It's a pretty looking movie. That trailer came out a long time ago.
Wait, what's it an adaptation of?
Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Oh, okay.
What is that?
Book we read in high school.
Yeah.
That I obviously didn't read.
It's cool. It's Gawain goes out and he meets some giant that offers him some kind of, I don't know. It looks cool. It looks like a fantasy medieval movie. That was on my list.
We've got Nightmare Alley, the next Guillermo del Toro film. This is going back in more of his horror side. Correct, JP?
Yep. Sounds like it's based on a pulp novel from back. Pretty old, I think.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Perlman's in it,
Good cast, if I recall.
Yes.
Jackass 4. So the first installment in that series.
Yeah.
In 11 years. Very excited to see those guys do some crazy shit again.
The sober Steve-O.
Did you guys hear the news that like the first week that they were filming that, like maybe a month ago, Steve-O and Johnny Knoxville ended up in the hospital?
Not surprised.
They're fine, but like they got hurt like real fucking bad like the first week.
Yeah,
Bless their souls.
I am just ready to be in a full movie theater, dying, laughing, and feeling like I'm gonna throw up just from how funny it is and how gross it is.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mission Impossible 7. So we will see Tom Cruise risk his life once again. COVID be damned.
I wonder if they'll have his meltdowns against the cast in the post-credit scenes. I'd like to see the video to the audio.
Yeah, not just the audio.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is the honorable mention. So all those movies were on one of our lists. But now we will get to our number one film, which should be no shock to anyone that has been listening regularly, if it actually comes out this year. It is, drumroll please.
I'll do a
No Time to
Clark
Die. James Bond, his 25th adventure. Currently scheduled to come out in April. Who knows if it actually will? But
I don't think so.
We all, I think, had this on our list, which was the only one that all four of us had on, which was Makes sense. Since last week we talked about how this would be the one movie of the year we would like to see in theaters together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's lots of reasons why it is on the list. We've been waiting for it for what feels like forever at this point. It's Daniel Craig's final performance as James Bond. The cast is phenomenal. We've got Rami Malek playing the villain of the film. Christoph Waltz returning as Blofeld. We've got the usual group returning: Ray Fiennes, Ben Whishaw, Naomi Harris, Jeffrey Wright returning. He hasn't been in it since Quantum of Solace. Lea Seydoux is back as the love interest from Spectre. Lashana Lynch has joined the franchise. I believe she is playing the new 007 while James Bond is on retirement. What else we got? And there's some. Oh, Ana de Armas. She is in the film as well. So a reunion
So hot
between
right now.
her and so hot right now, Ana de Armas, and a reunion of Knives Out between her and Daniel Craig.
Oh God, I forgot about that. I want more Daniel Craig as a detective.
Yeah. We've got Hans Zimmer doing the music. Kari Joji Fukunaga directing it and writing it. Co-wrote it with Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Neil Purvis and Robert Wade, who have been writing them for a long time now, the Bond movies. So a lot of collaboration between them. Guys, how fucking pumped are you?
I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see this in June or July.
If they delay it again, I think it'll probably go to like November.
Oh my God.
Back to November.
Murph, you're
You
killing
better take
me.
that back, Corey.
I don't see it
Put
coming
that
out in
into the
April.
world.
I'm so pumped, but I
would guess it would move to November, and Mission Impossible 7 would move into 2022.
I just don't see it.
It's like a November franchise. The fact that it's coming out in April is weird enough. There's going to be so much competition in the summer already.
Oh my
Everyone's
God.
already got their movies placed.
Yeah, but Murph, this is number one on Live
On
Breathe
Live-
Film's most anticipated
true.
movies of
That's
2021.
true.
How is there actually competition against this movie?
Good point. You have a good point.
There isn't.
I think all right. It probably has more to do when you push back a movie. You don't want to just push it back 3 months because things are more likely to be the same in 3 months versus 6 months. So they will go the longer route.
We might be talking about this in our winter films. Our fall
I hope
movie
we're not talking
showcase
about
or
it in the
whatever.
most anticipated 2022.
If that happens, it's off my list entirely. I mean, it's like shit or get out the pot. Show me James Bond, or like if you keep pushing it to another year, I'm out, man.
Yeah, I am getting like a little sick of having to wait for this movie.
All
Just
right.
because I was like, keep thinking I'm getting this movie, and they're like, nope, it's gonna move a little further down the road for you.
They're like, all right, we need to announce the new Bond and start filming the new one.
Well, that's
before
what I'm
this one
saying.
even comes out.
If it gets delayed to November or to 2022, do they announce the new Bond before this Bond even comes out? You got it, right?
It would hamper like the hype so much, though. I feel like
Yeah.
they would just be talking about the new Bond instead of Daniel Craig. I think that would be a bad decision, but
It'd be a bad decision, but
I don't know.
give me something. You can't make any more Billie Eilish music videos.
They just need to show. We need more music videos, and we need more previews of this movie. So we're gonna be able to piece together the entire thing.
Live, Breathe Film fall movie preview with No Time to Die.
That's what they're going to say at the end of it. Like, well, if you were diligent, you could put the entire movie together via trailer. And you should have done that the whole time. It's your James Bond hat.
I think if this movie inevitably ends up getting delayed again, I think it's going to end up on VOD, sadly.
Don't say it, Corey. No. I want to see it on an IMAX fucking screen.
I know, and so do I. But
Has any IMAX movie actually gone on VOD yet? Well, Wonder Woman was
I
simultaneous.
was going to say, was Wonder Woman?
Did Tenet not get filmed at IMAX?
Yeah, wasn't Tenet filmed in IMAX?
But that played in IMAX.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it did, right. I was gonna say, doesn't Christopher Nolan own IMAX at this point?
I don't think so. Like delayed completely, supposed to come out in IMAX and then didn't, and then just went on VOD.
And just went straight to VOD without any sort of a theatrical release. I don't
Gotta
think
pay for
anything
those
has.
cameras.
No, I could see it still coming out. Like I think it will come out in April. but I don't think we're gonna see it in theaters in April. I think everyone else in the world might. We'll
I
get
don't know.
it
The
on
rest of the
VOD.
world isn't doing too great either right now.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
if it comes out in theaters, it's got to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
How's MGM doing? They any news on that sale?
No news on it selling or anything like that. So I'm not sure what exactly is going on there, but this is going to be the year that they either live or die.
No
Well,
time
it's
to
no
live
time
or
to
die.
die.
No time to die.
I don't think they're gonna die another day. But yeah, James Bond #1. No surprise here.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can actually review it for you guys in April.
Yeah, that would be
But,
lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to
An IMAX review.
talk about some new movies.
exactly. But like we said at the beginning of the program, please let us know your most anticipated films of 2021. Let us know if you agree with our picks, ones that we did not mention, anything like that. We want to hear it. And yeah, you can let us know on YouTube, social, whatever. But that is all we have for today. Thanks as always for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe to the podcast on our various pages. Next week, we're going to be inverting back to the 90s, not traveling back in time, for our decade in review as we prepare to resume our yearly film series and enter the millennium. As always, this has been Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. See you then.